morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning. Yes, again, that beautiful reminder of choice that we all have. Oh my goodness, it's such a wonderful time to be alive. Think about this. We get to choose how we're going to think. Boy, there's technical difficulties happening here, but that's okay. You know why? Because I get to choose what it means. But anyways, think about that. We get to choose what we're going to make things mean. We get to choose how we're going to proceed in life. And that's why it's a wonderful time to be alive, because that's something that's available to you right here, right now, and all the time. Now, again, really grab onto what I'm saying here, because that, I should say, understanding that and using that can help you to change everything in your life. But see, this is where application comes into play. See, this is where you've got to use it, because if you don't use it, guess what? Your life's not going to change. Okay. So again, grab onto that. Type this in the comments. I always have a choice. You've always had a choice and you always will have a choice. And what is that choice? The choice of how you're going to think. Now, that's what we've been diving into. We've been diving into the truth of these principles that you can live by, and where we've been getting a lot of it from is the master key system. And Charles Haanel does a beautiful job breaking it down to help us to understand the real truths that are there. And remember, truth and your truth are two different things. I love this from psychocybernetics. Maxwell Maltz talks about how when we believe something, it's true, but it doesn't mean it's the truth, but it's our truth. And again, why is that important? Well, that's a big deal, because when you believe something is true, that's what you proceed to act on. Why? Because you have that feeling of it being so. But with that being said, our invitation to you is to live your life according to truth, of which these truths are these principles. And one of the truths that we've been talking a lot about is the law of cause and effect. For instance, that is a fundamental truth and that gets enforced regardless of whether or not you're knowledgeable or ignorant of it. If you want to change the effect, you must deal with the cause. See, that's truth. And the best part, again, is that you get to decide how you're going to think when it comes to the truth. Okay. So, with that being said, again, our invitation to you is to use what we're sharing with you to apply it in your life as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. Now, another thing, too, as well, is we have this weekend on Saturday, Emergence, which we invite you to register for and invite other people to come along as well. It is going to be amazing, incredible, it's fantastic. And we're going to dive into a lot more of this, plus a beautiful, simple, and in-depth process on how to emerge in your life by shifting the narrative inside. It's a very simple process, and it's going to be something amazing for you to experience this weekend. Now, and one more thing, another announcement as well, is make sure you have a copy of this beautiful gem here. There is no such thing as self-sabotage. This right here is a game changer. It obliterates, decimates, completely destroys the narrative that the personal development world has been instilling for almost 80% of what it shares. It uses that as a foundation, that you're self-sabotaging, that you're in the way, that you're your own worst enemy, and none of it's true. And what's amazing is when you think of that, when you dive into seeing it, it's actually a very harmful way of thinking that leads to a lot of weight, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. And this, by destroying it, removes that guilt, removes that shame, and opens your life to a beautiful awakening to where you can deliver incredible outcomes in a very short period of time. But again, as we've shared with you many times, the key is in the use of what we're sharing with you. And so make sure you get this, because this is what we're going to be diving into in the next sessions here at Master Your Mind. All right, so let's go into this, shall we? Let's go into something else too. By the way, I got one more announcement. We do have one more spot left for our retreat coming up here in December. So if that is something that's connecting with you and if you feel brave to want to go there, then reach out to us so that we can set up a time to have a conversation about that. Okay. All right. So let's go into this, shall we? Let's go into where we are in this book. Ta-da! Now, we talked about this yesterday about black magic. And wow, you know what's interesting? I have a black magic camera. I love my black magic camera. It's pretty awesome. But that doesn't have anything to do with this. I just think of the name. But anyways, we're going to go over this again because of how important it is. And it's really at the core a message about negative ideas and the belief in the negative ideas. And the question is, what is black magic? Now, remember, we're talking about understanding this so that it can help you to make changes in your life. And this, again, is really awesome. So the idea that there is a phenomenon called black magic is attributable and to credulity, superstition, and a lack of understanding of the laws governing the mental world. Now, remember, the mental world is governed by laws the same way that everything else is. In terms of the mental world, remember, like attracts like. In terms of intuition, for instance, of which we'll be diving into beautifully in There's No Such Thing as Self-Sabotage, the intuitive ideas that you see, and did you catch that? That you see, the intuitive ideas are always there, okay? All the ideas are always there. It's just a matter of what frequency you're on, because that frequency determines what you see when it comes to those ideas. With that being said, the ideas that come to you, the ideas that you see, that you recognize, are ones that you see and recognize because of how you're thinking. Now, grab onto that. Remember, here he's talking about how inside the mental world is governed by law. Well, here you have cause and effect, like attracts like. If you are on the frequency of good and doing good, guess what? You're going to see and hear ideas that are in harmony with that. And one of the simplest examples that I share with you that I love to share is, okay, will you be able to be happy most of the time if you're constantly thinking sad thoughts? And what's the answer? No. If you are on the frequency of sadness, it's because those are the ideas that you're thinking from. And isn't it interesting how, if that's the frequency you're on, that's all you see? Well, it's the same way with regards to happiness, with success, with, for instance, maybe being the best at what you do in the vocation that you're in. If you want that to be a material fact in your outer world, that's how you've got to see things in your inner world. Now, think about that for you. I know many of you, for instance, are coaches. Well, if you want to be an amazing coach in the outer world where clients are coming to you, then that's how you got to see yourself first. You've got to rid yourself of the idea that soon I will be, or one day. All you're doing when you think from that is you're engaging with making the roots of it not happening stronger. I will be is a confession that I am not. So you've got to rid yourself of that. So again, really grab onto what he's saying here. If you think in terms of black magic, or people who think of black magic, is because they don't understand the laws governing the mental world. Now, all thoughts and all things are held in solution in the universal mind. In other words, they are already there. The individual may open his mental gates and thereby become receptive to thoughts of any kind or description. You may open your mental gates and thereby become receptive to thoughts of any kind or description. It's just a matter of you having an open mind to be able to experience that. Type this in the comments. There is nothing more expensive than a closed mind. There is nothing more expensive than a closed mind. That right there is one of the beautiful truths that can help you dramatically to shift your life. An open mind is essential to shift your belief system. And why is that important? Well, because it is done unto you as you believe. If you don't change what you believe to be true of yourself, if you don't change the belief system, I have news for you. Your results are not going to change. And the only way to shift your belief system intentionally is with an open mind. Now, the invitation for you is to keep your mind open and to reevaluate, to constantly question what you believe to be true about yourself, about everything, so that you can become closer to the truth. Now, before we proceed, for those of you who watching this live stream, and if you'd love to tap more into this, then go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You'll thank yourself later. Same way that all these people have thanked themselves for